All right, lock in, guys. We're back with the rest of the Fortnite story. A commenter asked me to check the rest of it out. I wanted to anyway, so we're gonna do that. And if you have any suggestions for anything else, put it down below. And yeah, let's just check out the rest of the story.
32 seasons, 6 years, and 5 chapters later, all leading to the grand finale of Fortnite. Every moment we've experienced has been confusing or puzzling, but finally we have tied together the Fortnite Chapter 5 storyline. This journey begins after the Big Bang event. We found ourselves on a brand new reforged island. We've entered a new era of Fortnite's story, and it's here where our band of characters start a fresh life. Of course.
Okay, all right, before I let him talk, I do remember that the one girl, Jonesy's boss, she's like back contacting Jonesy and they're like working together. I do know that.
Nothing's ever that simple. You see, Jones made a new lifelong friend, Hope, who was running a secret movement known as the Underground. The purpose of this group? To spy on a new threat to the island, a crime syndicate known as the Society. They're led by Hope's very own sister Valeria. While spying on them, the Underground realizes that Valeria is searching for a very powerful object, and this was more important than anyone realized. At Ruin Reels, she's reading up on the history of Fortnite and all of the Omniverses, trying to piece it all together. Her true goal—
How she got that? She just got that in a book? Like, who wrote it down? What, were the 7 keeping history while they were like fighting planetary threats? That's crazy.
is to attain all the knowledge possible, but that's when she gets—
Yo, is Batman in there? Wait, is The Rock in there? No, I'm sorry. Right, as you know, I had a little bit of beef with who they casted The Rock as.
It's too curious. She learns of an artifact known as Pandora's Box, something that was never meant to be opened. Because of this, she's adamant on finding it, even going as far as kidnapping Peely to extort information out of Agent Jones. Now, he knew nothing about—
Bro, kidnapping a banana is wild. How do you torture it? Do you peel back the— Nah, I don't want to think about that, okay?
about the box, instead going on a rescue mission to free him and take down the Society before they could get to it. Eventually, Valeria discovered an ancient map belonging to Hope and her's grandfather. Now, all that was—
Oh, by the way, if I look like really tired or out of it, or heck, I even pause it and just kind of fumble on my words, I literally just woke up like 30 minutes ago, and I saw a comment that was like, oh, you gotta react to the Fortnite, the rest of Fortnite lore. And I was like, cool. And he kind of challenged me to do it within 8 hours, and I don't like to lose, so I'm trying to do that, but I think I'm missing a little bit, so who knows? But yeah, basically that.
was left was opening it. This ancient Greek artifact is finally unlocked against the demands of a terrifying god, Zeus, the king of Mount Olympus. He is absolutely furious that the islanders ignored his wishes and realizes they also stole a fraction of their power using medallions. It's too much. He decides they must pay for their crimes, declaring war between gods and mortals. Immediately, he sends his army of gods to destroy each member of—
Bro, that's kind of crazy. I didn't know. Wait, so they're literal gods, and they showed up now? Oh, and by the way, that's like, that changes all the lore. Why didn't they get involved in like Galactus and things? I guess they weren't interested.
the Society, taking out the whole organization in a matter of days. Valeria manages to escape, but Hope has a different idea. Instead of fleeing, she commands the Underground to take on the Pantheon of Gods in an epic battle for the island. Right now, they're too powerful to beat, but Hope has some tricks and allies up her sleeve. Not everyone agrees with Zeus. Medusa is more compassionate than the history books make her seem. Instead of being a Gorgon who turns people to stone, she's actually friends with Perseus, the man who chops her head off in the original story. This time, it's different.
She's friends with Perseus? Well, like, it didn't go well last time. Perseus was really a pain in the neck. Haha, funny, get it?
They're both prepared to face the gods with us. Hope's team quickly grows inside.
All right, if you're still around in this video,
recruiting Artemis and Zeus's own daughter Aphrodite. With this additional power, it feels like they could actually pull this off. But first, they need to weaken Zeus because right now he's collecting as much power as possible so he could vanquish every mortal. This power is being stored in artifacts like an Hourglass of Doom, and while the plan to destroy it feels pretty simple, that's until Hope began to talk to a mysterious prophet. Even if they managed to defeat Zeus, their fight wouldn't be over, as the Oracle warned of a near future which sounded terrifying. Choking dust, dark skies, not exactly fun. But stopping Zeus had to happen or the island would be in even more danger, as the underground is.
But what happened to the other guy? You know, like the main villain of all the things. He was like coming back. Did they just do away with that story or did they leave it for later? I know that like it left off on this chapter. I'm like 95% sure.
Destroyed Zeus's artifacts one by one, his power was now weaker than ever, with only the hourglass left in our way. The grand plan had come to fruition, and our final battle against Zeus himself kicked off. Lightning could be seen emanating from Mount Olympus as they fought in his throne room.
Yo, that's mad sick. I'm not even gonna lie. Yo, I might start going to these live events and they're like this. Bro's got a sword of lightning.
These strikes would turn out to be a disaster for the island. Zeus's hourglass was destroyed. He's powerless, and Hope in the underground declare victory. Now he's defeated, and mortals are saved from his vengeance. Or so we thought. Those lightning strikes were Zeus's final blow, releasing just enough energy to open Pandora's box again. And this time, it would truly unleash the world's evils.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a real douchey move by Zeus, right? Zeus lost. He lost fair and square. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take you out with me. And then he used his final attack to open Pandora's box again.
A sandstorm had swept the island just like the Oracle foretold. These were the dark skies and choking dust, and with this brutal tide came an army of scavengers. Megalodon, the Lord of the Wasteland.
Okay, I like these guys already. I love the like lost in the desert type of pirate trope, you know what I mean? Like scavengers, I love that type of trope. It's so cool.
I am the voice of the wasteland. I am the stalking beast in the night. The roaming teeth in the deepest waters.
Bro, quit glazing yourself. Jeez. This dude's like, I'm the best. You know, people talk about me. When people talk about the GOAT conversation, they only talk about me. It's like, yo, chill, buddy.
I am the last thing you see before the darkness takes hold. And that sad mountain monument to the banished gods. Your only god now is me, dear ones.
With thousands of marauders at his side, his power was unstoppable, allowing him to conquer the entire desert using.
Yeah, his power was unstoppable. Just ask him, bro. Like, he'll tell you all about it. He'll tell you how powerful he is.
Nitro. This energy source single-handedly powers his army, including his superhuman armor. Only problem is he's running out. Now, the Leviathan, his gigantic ship, has been wrecked on the coast and is low on nitro, forcing him to change his plans. The person who can help him out is the Machinist. They're an expert at nitro and the owner of a refinery. This giant engine-shaped factory at Redline Rig is mining into the ground, collecting resources, and refining it into the nitro that Megalodon is so desperate for. On our chalkboard, we could see that the early names of this thing were Fast Juice and Speed Goo, which tells us it's a pretty new resource that was just discovered, making it very hard to get your hands on. Even though Megalodon is pretty clear about how he wants to raise the island to the ground, the Machinist is on board and decides to build emergency pipelines straight to his ship. Meanwhile, Hope is now realizing she has to step up to the task once more.
So, I spent some time poking around.
Where's Jonesy, though? Like, I get Hope is on the team, but it seems like Jonesy's just phoning it in. He kinda, like, retired, went to the Poconos, let Hope take over the mission. Jeez.
Camp. I was right. The man's a full-blown wannabe tyrant. He wants to take the island, and he might just be strong enough.
After defeating Zeus, he fled to another realm, and to celebrate, the underground claimed Mount Olympus as theirs. Now they had clout on the island and room to expand, recruiting all kinds of newcomers from the wasteland. She realizes that Pandora's box left behind gems after the battle with Zeus, and these cannot fall into the wrong hands. Megalodon has been searching for them, but they're not actually for him. This whole time, Hope has been realizing she has a hidden superpower, a way to look into the future through art. Her graffiti could prophesize things she doesn't even understand yet, causing her to draw a mysterious figure on the walls, the Wanderer. In his ear, the secret companion has been using Megalodon like a puppet in the shadows.
So Megalodon isn't even the final boss. He's a puppet. He's like Obito. And bro's talking about, ooh, I am inevitable. It's like, bro, you're an assistant manager. Put the fries in the bag.
Lurks on the island, stalking people from a distance and vanishing when they get too close. Their identity is completely unknown, even to Megalodon himself. But all he knows is that this Wanderer is very interested in Pandora's box and its location. To return the favor, he helps the Don in his plan to ravage.
Not gonna lie, the Wanderer's got aura. Did you see him just walk through that? That's crazy.
The island and secure the pipeline. There are some hiccups along the way, as Hope and the Underground swoop in to steal their Pandora gems. And despite Jones's warnings that they shouldn't mess with them, they go for it anyway. Putting the collection together, it begins to show constellations, the future. Hope's hat, a sword, a helmet, and the ghost logo from all those years ago. But after noticing his possession has been stolen, Don is outraged.
That broken has-been named Jones, and the charlatan artist calling herself Hope. They are collecting my precious baubles.
I don't think Jones is a has-been. Let's be honest. Jones just has longevity. He's got like a LeBron longevity. At what point is he just like a staple in the league? I don't think he's a has-been. He's still putting up numbers. Maybe not the same numbers he was in his prime, but he's definitely not a has-been.
My Pandora gems, and it is irritating.
Tell me how you really feel.
They cannot have them. If you love me, or if you fear me, bring me their heads.
The true nature of his
I don't
partnership
know
with
why he's so funny to me, but he's hilarious.
the Wanderer is about to be unveiled by someone who has come to the island from a different universe. One of the constellations in the gems made out the shape of a helmet, one that looked awfully similar to Magneto. Donning a new outfit to survive in the wasteland, he arrived in search of Weapon X. While breaking him out of a bunker on the island, he found evidence of something more sinister happening. He realizes the Wanderer is more dangerous than anyone knows, and Hope is able to track him down thanks to the gem constellation. So he tells her about his suspicions, pointing out how Megalodon isn't the main threat, it's the Wanderer. It is someone who...
Okay, so Magneto is the main, like, he's helping us? That's kind of crazy, though, because Magneto's known to be kind of a bad dude. So I don't know, right? Maybe it's one of those, like, deaths, Deathstroke betrayed them all? Could be. That's what, I'm kind of predicting that.
Could be more sinister than the Dawn could ever be. He takes a precaution, setting up rift beacons on the map that could call in reinforcements. But it's already too late. The Nitro pipeline is complete. With Leviathan about to be refueled, Megalodon could begin his reckoning. Now, it was time for the Wanderer to reveal his true identity.
Wait, I want to predict. I'm forgetting the main villain's name. Don't worry, I'm terrible with names. But, you know, like the dad of the two girls that, like, sacrificed or, like, went off into reality and then he left a robot of himself and was like, oh, well, I'm back, guys, and was communicating through the robot, which, by the way, amazing aura. So I think it's him. That's my guess. I hope so.
This whole time, he was one of the most dangerous villains you could ever imagine, Dr. Doom.
The Wanderer's Dr. Doom? How did I not see that coming? But still, that's crazy.
Hacking the pipeline, he stopped Don's plan and was able to use the chaos to swoop in and take his prized possession, Pandora's box. It turns out the gem constellation wasn't for Magneto, it was foreshadowing Doom's arrival all along.
Not gonna lie, those gems would be perfect to do like a Dragon Ball collab.
He had spent months tracking down Pandora's box so he could unlock a vast amount of power, on the same level as the ancient gods. With this strength, he's able to conquer the island and build a massive kingdom. We get to see the aftermath of those who tried to stop him. Not only does Doom kill
Why do villains always put a statue of themselves? Have you noticed that? Sorry, it's off topic, but why is villain like, you know what? I'm so good, I'm gonna put a statue of myself so I can remind people how great I am. If I'm a villain and I took over the world, right? I'm gonna do that. Why would I do that? People know I'm that guy. I don't need to remind them.
Magneto, he displays his head as a trophy alongside the many superheroes who answered Magneto's beacon.
He slimed out Magneto and put his head on a pike? That's crazy work.
The same reality that helped us rip away Galactus, defeat the Isle's Doomsday device, and destroy the Loop for good was powerless to stop Doom. He killed each and every one of them. Fantastic Four, Moon Knight, even the Silver Surfer. All of them were now displayed in his castle to
The Silver Surfer is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Silver Surfer is like mad powerful.
truly show off his power, including the remains of Galactus in the water. The island was officially his. No one would dare step up to fight him now. Even if he wanted to, he wasn't gonna raise the island like Megalodon. He was gonna take care of those in his kingdom. If only he knew someone did have the will to move against him. Hope gears up to prepare for battle, along with John Jones, who was gifted a shield and armor from an old friend, Steve Rogers. They find Gwenpool locked up at the raft and break her out in return for her help. Enlisting Shuri, we're able to get them.
Wait, is this the plot twist in the new Marvel movie? Right? You don't need to watch Doomsday. That's not Captain America in the trailer, guys. You know who that is? That's John Jones. And not the UFC fighter.
To tap into Magneto's rift beacons and reactivate them. The goal, to bring another powerful mind to the island. However, they would eventually need to use them for a different purpose, a way to stop Doom's true evil plan lurking in the shadows. On the surface, it seems like he's just taken over the island and turned it into his utopia. And while that's true, it's not enough for him. Doom has an ulterior motive, something that's been eating away at him for years, and now he has the power to make it happen, a way to resurrect his dead mother. And that is who he leaves roses for in the forest.
Mother, I am building my new kingdom. This place reeks of failure, of fault, of imperfection. But it will not be this way for long. I will set this place to order. I will make it perfect. My gentle guiding hand.
Okay, question. Is he a bad dude? Because, yes, we get, he definitely did some bad things, that's for sure. But that's not the question. So, he wants to make Fortnite, like the whole island and everything, a better place. He wanted to focus on his town. And the civilians may or may not enjoy it. Like, if the civilians support him, is he a bad dude? Maybe he had bad methods to get where he's at, but it seems like he just wants perfection.
Or by brutal fist of submission.
He constructs a giant
I mean, he's a bit tough on crime, but, you know, he's not the worst guy in the world.
tower of lava near his castle.
Right? The Ice King went and hid in he went and hid in the tundra for 500 years and was like, oh, hey guys, I'm back.
Desperate to summon Mephisto, the devil himself. Once this plan is in action, he could cut a deal with him to resurrect Cynthia Von Doom. But while he works on that, we begin to learn more about our new main character, Hope. Her past begins to come to light as we learn how deeply her family is connected to this entire chain of events. The reason her sister was able to track down Pandora's box in the first place, they are distantly connected to the pantheon of Greek gods. This also explains their use of medallions and superhuman powers. Valeria can manipulate fire, while Hope, as we know, can see the future through her art. This is why the Oracle is so drawn to Hope. Her fate is entangled with all of this, and she has to be the one to stop it. While she learns more about herself, Doom is only growing stronger. When he first used the box, his arm—
Wait, so is the Oracle not Doom? I'm sorry. I kind of got lost there. This plot is so, like, intricate, you, like, lose attention for 5 seconds, and you kind of get lost a little bit. So if I ask something stupid, don't worry.
armor broke, and he realized he needs more protection if he wants to wield the full potential of Pandora. So he begins to forge himself a new piece of armor, one built using the box itself. Once this is complete, he will be totally unstoppable. And while all of this was originally meant to bargain for his mother, Doom is becoming too hungry for power.
I thought it would cheer me to gaze upon this crumbling monument. Instead, I feel nothing but vacant hunger. It must be the box. It is exhilarating, but it...
Well, I'm not gonna lie, guys. You see this ancient weapon, right? Like Pandora's box. They're like, oh, this has every evil. This is some bad juju. You don't want to mess with it. I'm pretty sure this is what connects you to the Coraline world. And Doom's like, you know what? I'm gonna turn it into my new fit. Bad idea, bad idea.
It's also wild, chaotic, uncontrolled. My work nears completion. When all is reborn in my perfect image, I will never fail again.
Luckily, we're able to summon some additional help. The Rift Beacons are up and running again, bringing Tony Stark to the island as he begins to figure out Doom's plan. The Underground realize they need to do more. If they could just aim the beacons at Doom's tower, they could just blast them away to another reality. It worked before with Galactus, right?
Powering up. Almost there. Power holding steady at 50%.
Just one problem. Doom has now constructed his armor, absorbing the full energy of the box, and he's too powerful for the beacons.
4, 3, 2, let him have it! How is it still standing?
Who dares stand against me?
Bro is too powerful for reality? They're shooting him into a new timeline. And bro's like, who decided that? Why is he aura farming? I'm kind of on Dr. Doom's side, right? We're watching the Fortnite main cast here. Just gotta get pummeled, let's be honest.
We'll pay a price.
Brace for impact!
Start running. If I saw that, right, we're unloading, we're giving him everything we got, and he's just walking calmly? No, don't keep shooting. You gotta hit retirement. You gotta go somewhere. Not fish stick. I did not know it was serious like that. Dr. Doom's legitimately sliming people out right now. What'd you think that was gonna do? Plot armor. War Machine, I thought I just saw you get slimed out. How are you back? And when did Peely become Wolverine? When did that happen? Can we get the side lore on that story? Like, I'd love to know.
This was now an all-out battle, as a 150-foot tall Dr. Doom wielding the full power of Pandora's box was stomping around. The entire island had to work together just to defeat him, but as his armor crippled, he'd get even more aggressive. Throughout the battle, Doom destroyed almost all of the Rift Beacons, setting them across the map, except for one, causing Shuri to think of an idea.
Only one of the beacons is salvageable, but Shuri thinks that will be enough if we can significantly weaken Doom.
With her knowledge, she could use Rift recalibrators to reverse the beacon and send Doom away. All we needed to do was weaken him.
Where'd you send him? You know, that's my always problem is when they're like sending him into a new reality or like a new timeline. It's like, so you're just sending Dr. Doom to go terrorize wherever he winds up. Like, imagine he ends up in the Mickey Mouse verse. That'd be very sad.
It was done. The saga of Pandora's Box had finally been brought to an end. With each evil it unleashed, Hope and the Underground were able to step up and save the island. Their story was over. For now. In the background, people on the island were tampering with the destroyed rift beacons. Most of them have been thrown across the map, but one still worked. Messing with it, it activated, sending us to an alternate reality. This was the final part of the gem's prophecy, the ghost logo, which turned out to be non-existent in this new strange reality. We now found ourselves—
Is Genos— okay, I just remembered the main villain's name. Is Genos gonna come back? Because I was very curious about that. Did I miss something where he got beaten? But remember, I highly remember he was like coming back and talking to his robot self.
On the old Chapter 2 island, this time entirely different. There was no Midas, no previous Ghost vs. Shadow. It was now home to the Ice Spice. We are now plunging—
Bro, Midas had so much aura. Why'd we get rid of Midas? Midas is like, he did nothing. I really liked him too.
Straight into the remix finale and the next era of the story in Fortnite Chapter 6. Code T5G in the Atom Shop helps support us makes these kind of videos. You have no idea.
Yeah, if you want to do that, do that. Okay, I'm going to the next episode. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I think we're missing like a lot of lore because, you know, these are supposed to be like entire chapter explanations, but I'm unsure because it kind of just drops us somewhere, but I'm low-key following it. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, you know, maybe in a future video we could cover that.
The Fortnite storyline has officially restarted with a brand new island, villain, and the return of the Seven. All of this revolves around the Zero
Is the Seven leader The Rock again?
Shard, which is floating on our map, and it's attracted a lot of attention. But how did this shard get here? What happened to the actual 0 point, and why is the Seven back on the island? Let's explain the Fortnite Chapter 7 storyline. We have to take things back to Chapter 3, when the last reality and Herald used Chrome to melt the entire island. That included most of the Seven, and we had almost no options. The 0 point was about to fall into their hands, and our heroes were defeated. Only the Paradigm is left, and with the island destroyed, the 0 point was unprotected, so she had one final idea up her sleeve. Using her knowledge, she began to do something named Zero Fusion, piecing together a brand new island from multiple realities and holding off the last reality. But this meant—
Okay, I kind of like that we're back to this story. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna treat the other two chapters as filler because it was kind of just random. It was good, like, don't get me wrong, they were good. But like, now we're back at the lore, the Fortnite lore. Okay.
She risked her own life to save everyone and went missing without a trace. On the new island, the 0 point, now encased in a ball of steel, became petrified. It was still suffering from the previous events and was becoming unstable after Zero Fusion. Without being controlled by the imagined order or the expertise of the Seven, there was nothing—
You'd think they just really want to, all they gotta do is lock up this 0 point. 99% of their problems are solved.
Thing we could do. At some point, even Dr. Sloan made an appearance, interested in what had happened, and like every season before, having the 0 point out in the open was causing tons of villains to try and take it for themselves. Like Kato Thorne, a time-traveling collector obsessed with history. After he came to the island, an opportunity to go back in time and fix everything appeared. We destroyed Kato, stole his time machine, and used it to rewind back to a simpler time, before the Seven were defeated and things had gotten out of hand. Except, in this alternate timeline we had gone back to, things were different. The end event didn't just reset the island, it reset the 0 point, shattering the orb into thousands of pieces and basically rebooting the storyline with a single big bang. A new omniverse of
Is Genos back? Is Midas with Aura back?
realities have been created, all linked with each other, and the 0 point was no more. Its power had been scattered across the universe in pieces, and one of these had—
Yo, that's sick. I'm not gonna lie. If you're playing Fortnite, wait.
bang. A new omniverse of realities have been created, all linked with each other, and the 0 point was no more. Its power had been scattered across the universe.
That is such a cool shot. Was that like, let me know if that was part of an event, like as you're playing, or was that like a cinematic scene? Because that would be such a cool shot to be playing as.
universe in pieces, and one of these had landed in Reality 783, our new home. As it crashed onto the island, it reactivated ancient portals, awakening an entire spirit realm of demons invested in tracking down this power. They were able to take the Zero Shard back to their master, an ultra-powerful king of demons. While he was busy trying to use its power to break into the real world, a family was making things even worse. Daigo, a magic mask maker, had become obsessed with demons and started experimenting with forbidden magic, causing his sister Jade to become stuck in the spirit realm. And
Okay, we saw this part, but it's okay to review, you know? This is chapter 7. I'm pretty sure the other one was chapter 6, but it's okay to review. We're relearning.
During a rescue mission, he got his hands on a knife made of Zero Shard splinter blades and used it to break into the spirit realm and rescue her. Except while Daigo and Jade were inside the demon's realm, they realized what was coming. The Dark Presence binded himself with the Zero Shard and was preparing a full-scale invasion of the island to conquer it for the rest of time. Daigo was interested in one thing only, getting the shard for himself. So he used money from a local...
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. So I watched the chapter 6 review after this. I'm just gonna not put that part in because this is covering all of chapter 6 and chapter 7.
Syndicate boss to reopen a portal and get back to the spirit realm himself. But when he entered, he was immediately corrupted with the demon's power and used as a puppet by the dark...
Yeah, in fairness, this was not Daigo's fault. Because like I said, I already saw this part. But it really was not Daigo's fault when you think about it. Because bro was trying to save his sister and he got corrupted. You know, what are you gonna do?
Presence.
Yeah, that doesn't seem healthy though. Imagine you had that guy coming at you at 3 a.m. at nighttime. Ugh.
Because he was mortal, he was able to do all the dirty work that would be dangerous for demons and created enough chaos and corruption around the island to prepare for the invasion. This is where the Dark Presence attempted his first attack, reaching through the portal with a single tentacle, but the heroes of the island were able to hold him off and sever one of his legs. Although...
Yeah, Superman, after letting people like get slimed out by this tentacle, decided to come back.
This wasn't enough to stop hordes of bugs from arriving, and the takeover was relentless.
Yeah, I don't be rocking with demon bugs. Demon bugs, stay away from me, dude.
Eventually, the Dark Presence gained enough strength for a second attack and fully appeared on the island, tearing open the veil between worlds and causing other realities to break through, like Springfield.
He's an evil octopus? That's my biggest fear, not gonna lie. Octopuses, right? You know, think about it. They got 8 legs, dude. Do you know how weird that is? 8. They could wrap you up.
Hope and Jones tried to stop this from happening, even breaking off a part of the Zero Shard from the demon's chest. But Kang and Kodos disrupted the plans. After a small fight, our heroes were sent through a wormhole that...
Yo, I love the Simpsons art style. That would be so sick if they did a Fortnite movie in the Simpsons art style. Like, was this a legitimate episode or something? Let me know, I'll watch it.
Merged Springfield with parts of the island, creating a temporary refuge away from the demons. But Hope wanted to go back as soon as possible to defeat the Demon King. There was just one problem. The Zero Shard that had been broken off was now in the hands of someone unexpected, and that's Homer Simpson. He tried to turn Springfield into his own idea of a paradise, but it ended up being a complete disaster, and the town revolted against him. This forced Homer to hide in the nuclear core of the power plant, making things even worse. A clone...
The fact that Homer Simpson works at a power plant is beyond me. Bro, 1 second away from ending the world.
Army emerged in a gas cloud that rebirthed Homer into a giant. Luckily, he was able to burp out the Zero Shard and give it back to Hope and Jones, but not before he was recruited for the upcoming fight against the Dark Presence. Now, with the Zero Shard in his hands, Jones could repair his rift gun and contact thousands of realities across the Omniverse for help in the fight. It was time for Zero Hour, our last stand against the Demon Master. After getting help from across the universe, all of the characters we've grown to love over the years teamed up.
I like how we casually just got Godzilla over here, and we're not talking about that? That's crazy.
Avengers Endgame style, fighting back against the Dark Presence. But even this was not enough. He defeated us all one by one, with the power of the Zero Shard being too...
Of course he's gonna beat up King Kong, not gonna lie, King Kong just has plot armor. But Godzilla? How is this dude running the ones with Godzilla?
Much to handle. With a final trick up our sleeves, we summoned the cube from the alternate timeline that had been opened up during the Big Bang event and used its power to weaken the demon. He was still able to hold back until Mecha Team Leader showed up out of nowhere and did this.
Who's piloting that?
Yeah, who is? Don't tell me it's Dwayne Johnson.
With the demons defeated and the Zero Shard free from corruption, the island began to heal and returned all of the allies back to their homes. Now, it was time for a new place for us to call home, and the Zero Shard took us here.
Did we ever get an answer on who was piloting it?
Reality 266, an island known as the Golden Coast. But with all of this, it has summoned the attention of a new, even scarier enemy. With a familiar-looking cradle in the sky, we are now being watched by the last reality. They are back with a vengeance, led by a mysterious character known only as the Dark Voyager. In response to this, we have the return of an even more important group.
Remind me, who was the last reality?
The Seven are back. Right now, on the island, if you talk to Hope, she explains how we got here, stating that we left the old island in the hands of the Spirit siblings, and it officially means the demon storyline is wrapped up for good. After the Voyager's cradle destroyed the
They just casually summoned the Demogorgon, and they're like, you know, that's a lot to do. So the demon story were wrapped up.
battle bus, the 0 point needed to keep the natural protection intact, kicking in its defense mechanisms and creating a wall of water to surf on. That's kind of what
That's
happened
sick.
in Chapter 2. So
I'm not gonna lie, that's really cool.
when I say the loop, you might think it was destroyed when the Imagined Order lost the war in Chapter 3. Well, that was the loop under their control, one that had been manipulated to create Geno's perfect society and force people to battle to the death. Right now, the one on the island is the 0 point's natural version, which helps hide it from outsiders. It's
Is it just me, or does the 0 point look kind of tasty?
the reason the storm exists in the first place. During the event, we also got a small documentary recapping the story of the 0 point and the 7, and this confirms that we're in a new phase of the storyline that goes back to the old ways with our classic characters. Sadly, most of the 7 are still missing, and the Imagined is confirmed dead after she threw her father Geno into the 0 point back in Chapter 3. But some members are beginning to re-emerge. You see,
I think Geno's still alive. I feel like we really did cut off that storyline where he was like messing with his robot, you know, and he was getting his robot to bring him back.
in the desert, a meteor has crashed.
I like
landed,
Geno.
the very same one used by the 7. We can see it
Geno's probably my favorite character if we get him back.
open pod,
I
proving
love a
one of
good
them has
villain.
shown up. And if you want to know who, there's a mission log on the ground revealing the Order has answered Jones's distress call.
I was scanning the aftermath of the battle for Reality 783 when I picked up a distress signal sent by Agent Jones. It's been a while. He and I have a lot to catch up on. Whatever's going on, odds are the 0 point is involved. Initial scans show this place has an intense concentration of 0 point energies.
And she's right. Over in the
I'm not gonna lie, the order didn't do much. The Order was like the TVA, right? And all we know about it was they just watched it and they were like, "Oh, we want people to fight." And anytime something bad would happen, they'd be like, "Oh, well, that's not our problem."
entered the map, you can find the shard that crashed down onto the island all those years ago. It is only one of
Does it not look tasty? Let me know. Put down in the comments if you made it this far in the video. Put down in the comments if you would eat the 0 point. It looks good.
the many shards currently hiding on the island. And right now it's being used to power some kind of particle accelerator owned
It looks like a good piece of candy. That's
by Inaloop
like a good
Labs.
gummy.
Our biggest problem is that someone else has their eyes on it. The Dark Voyager and his cradle had spent the first weeks of the season watching us from a distance, until we repaired the battle bus ourselves. Immediately afterwards, he went into hiding, and this is where things get extra mysterious. Inside of it,
Bro has cube powers? That's crazy. The cube, as we know, the cube is one of the biggest threats in all of Fortnite land. I look at the cube as like an infinity stone type of thing. And this bro could just summon the cubes?
Inaloop Labs, there's a holo table, and by talking to it, you will get a directive from the Dark Voyager himself. You could either choose to prove yourself to him and join his side, or lie and work as a double agent. Either way, he
You know what I'm kind of sad about? Is Drift never got his limelight. I would have loved to see Drift be in the main story.
gives you tasks to prove your loyalty, including interrogating people about the
That's when I
rest of
played.
the 0 point shards. When you do this, you'll hear all kinds of information, like when Hope admits they are a mystery even to us, and Jones is a little less generous with the info, saying, "You think I don't know who you've been talking to? Let's just say, I know a lot more about the shards than you, and it's gonna stay that way." Whether he's
Great. As soon as a character gets fame, they abandon all their friends, right? Jones back in the day was a humble agent, but now he got some limelight, you know? He probably got a promotion, and now he's too big shot for us.
bluffing or not, we don't know. Dark Voyager also asks us to hunt down signs of the Seven, which of course is that crash meteor in the desert. But even though he knows all about the Order and her return, she's also investigating him at the very same time and his connection to Innoloop Labs.
Someone else is making a play for the shards, and I need to find out why. I could really use some help here. For the Seven, we are what we used to be. I miss my sister most of all. This tech company's headquarters should contain all the necessary
Wait, right? Didn't her and her sister, like, get sacrificed with her dad, if I remember right? So, how'd she survive?
components to execute my plan. Have to be careful, though. The place is crawling with thugs working for the Dark Voyager. Based on that ship of his, he's connected to the last reality. But something feels off.
I wonder if Jones is bad. You know, he's giving me bad vibes. And as you know, right, Jones, good character. I like Jones, but he's not my favorite character. But if Jones does a 180 and makes a play for the 0 point, that'd be kind of cold.
Sadly, us trying to prove our loyalty to the Dark Voyager ends up being useless, as his final directive is to betray us, spawning last reality agents to wipe us out, but we survive the attack. Here's where things get extra mysterious. If you look back at the 0 Hour event, there was a transmission sent by the last reality with cube glyphs. Except for just one frame, this was decoded, giving us strange info like total elapsed time in base reality 8 years and beginning phase 2. It ends with the words executing program. But what fans have been freaking out over is how it mentions the Dark Presence and how they had to decommission it, implying this whole time that he was working for the last reality. Someone even higher has been pulling the strings, and everything we've known.
Bro, please tell me it's Geno. I am begging you. If it's Geno, greatest character.
Up until this very moment was only phase 1. Whether this executive program is Dark Voyager and he's just another puppet to the true leader of the last reality, we have yet to find out. But it wouldn't be the first time they've sent powerful villains to the island. After all, we thought the Cube Queen was the leader until she summoned an even larger cradle to the map. Jones himself thinks this. When you ask him about the Voyager, he'll say, be careful. If I'm right, he's a herald of something else, something dangerous. Clearly, the last reality have always been stronger than we could handle. We got lucky with the Cube Queen and the island flip, but when faced with the previous herald, we ultimately lost the battle. Are we even powerful?
Yeah, and it was bad too. It was real bad. You know, it wasn't just a loss. It was devastating. They didn't do nothing to her.
Enough to stand up to the Dark Voyager when the time comes? I mean, our current heroes are getting weaker by the day. Hope is actually losing her powers of seeing the future with clouded visions. Lately, when I sleep, I dream of nothing. Thanks to my—
Would you want the power to see the future? I don't think I would. And hear me out, because what are you gonna do? You could try to change it, but is it one of those things where the future is a fixed point? It kind of seems like it is. Everything she sees and tries to prevent, it still happens. I say this all the time. If I could have any power, it would be speed, right? Being a speedster would be amazing. And the Flash is my favorite superhero. Spider-Man fans, come at me. Right, Spider-Man's good. Flash on top.
Have something to do with the
Wally
presence
West.
of the shards. Luckily, we've also got Jones helping us figure out what's going on. And when you talk to him, he looks back on the time when the Herald chromed the island, admitting he ran away and lost his chance for vengeance. But he promises that won't happen again. And both him and Hope are now hunting for the rest of the shards before the last reality could get to it.
You don't see the gummy, right? You know what I mean? It looks like a good gummy, right? I love sour gummy worms. I love pretty much any gummies you could think of. That's probably my favorite candy. And that looks like something I would eat. It looks like the Warhead gummies. If you've had those, they're fire. That's what that reminds me of.
It's just the Dark
The
Voyager
cube
is
one?
onto us, and the Order seems to experience this danger firsthand.
I've got a lock on one of the pieces I need. Once I'm able to send the signal, then my old friend should... Wait.
I'm not gonna lie, the Order, they really aren't what they used to be. Let's be honest. The Order's phoned it in these days.
That looks like a boarding mission. Jones, if you receive this message, I need you to...
You could have told us who it looked like before you got slimed out, bro. You're like, that looks like, you know, you don't have to address Jones. Jones can lock in. He can use context clues. If you told him who it was, would have made his job a lot easier.
It looks like the Voyager has his hands in every slice of this island's pie. He's controlling everything right now, and he might be behind all of the mysterious companies on the island. Over at Classified Canyon, this Area 51 style base is clearly not abandoned. And while we have no idea who owns this, we do know that Human Bill managed to escape while being studied. His ship is still in the depths of this place, seemingly being
That thing was creepy.
piloted, but we have no idea who is interested in aliens and why they built a whole base to investigate them. In fact, if you explore the area, you'll find signs talking about how there's nothing to see here and showing a single
Well, then they're not investigating aliens, guys. There's nothing to see here. That's what the sign clearly says. Does nobody read signs anymore?
large eye, and it is watching. Maybe this base isn't investigating generic aliens, but a specific faction. There have
Bro, there's nothing to see there. I don't know what you're on about.
also been theories that with this base being called 7, it could be related to the very same place the Origin was held as a prisoner, with his suit also showing the number 7. Could we actually be looking at an old base built by the Imagined Order? It's all a total mystery right now. What we do know is that the Order isn't the only member of the 7 who will be showing up. Leakers have revealed that weapons belonging to the Foundation are set to return, and if you look at this original teaser for Chapter 7, you can also spot his name being written out by the bride, confirming he will be showing up. You can even approach Jones as him and get yet another hint of his impending return. But a lot of the storyline's attention is going to be on this place in Loop Labs. On the surface, this is a simple tech company that builds transportation around the map, but clearly they are deeply connected to the Dark Voyager. Not only is he hovering over the place as we speak, but they're using the Zero Shard to power their mysterious particle accelerator, and we have no idea what it's being used for.
Yo, please tell me there's a Flash. All right, hear me out. If the Flash came to Fortnite, it might have already happened. But if the Flash does, I'd play it again. I love the Flash.
Outside of the Loop tunnels. It's also very interesting that they've used the name Innovation Loop. With how important the actual loop is to the 0 points protection, it's just very possible the main goal of the particle accelerator is to take control of
Bro's playing Tetris.
the loop for themselves, and with the storm being
No, that's more like Block Blast. And did you see he failed?
tampered with and transformed into shapes, this seriously seems to be the case. The Voyager's holotable, which gave us directives, was located in the Loop Labs, and in one of the rooms, you can find paintings all related to the last reality. Not only that, but one of our new characters, Karina, actually hacked into their servers and found a ton of redacted files, including mentions of the 0 point and the 7.
Does nobody listen to warnings anymore, right? There was a sign that said nothing to see here. She found redacted files. You know what that means? They're redacted. You can't access them. And she tried to access them.
There is something deeply shady about these guys, and yet they're not even the ones with the suspicious name. That award belongs to Sus Studios. Yeah, even the movie
Sus Studios, that's like saying when you're trying to hide in plain sight, like Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. I'm sorry to serenade you with my wonderful monotone voice, but you could have picked a better name, guys.
studio could be involved in this grand conspiracy. I mean, their name alone implies there's something off about them, but it goes even deeper when you look at their movie sets. Most of them are related to the horror movie they're shooting in the desert, but one is this control panel. If you compare it to exactly where the Dark Voyager is standing in the key art, you can see that it's a direct copy of his actual cube cradle.
In all fairness, are we sure it's not just an adaptation of the Dark Voyager? It could be the Dark Voyager movie.
Panel. Whether he's standing in the movie set here or Sus Studios have somehow recreated his cradle, it implies a direct connection between them. Add that on top of the fact they painted a whole desert to be 0 point theme shows these guys know way more than they let on. Keep an eye on them for sure because they could be using the movie sets as a front to dig and search for the Zero Shards. And that is the Fortnite Chapter 7 storyline explained so far.
Yeah, well, if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Please leave a comment down below on what you want me to talk about, react to, whatever. I will, if there's more Fortnite lore to react to, I'll gladly do that, but but maybe not back to back, so if you want to suggest something else, that'd be greatly appreciated too. And see you next time. Bye!